And so, all this time I was like, but whatever happened to Shaun? Where is he? What is he doing? Because as he says in his shows, he about disappeared off the face of the earth.
He did.
Welcome to the Shaun Squad Society podcast, the podcast for all of us teeny boppers who were head over heels in love with our teen dream, Shaun Cassidy. We believe that it's time to tell our stories in our words, remembering the first time we discovered Shaun. Our podcast will feature stories of concerts, memorabilia, and everything Shaun. So come along with us on this journey to share the stories that helped us create the Shaun Squad Society podcast with your host, myself, Penny,
Dame Madonna,
Cindy,
and Doris. Today, we have a very special guest. Janet started a Facebook group, the Shaun Cassidy Fan Convention. Be it directly or indirectly, the Facebook group brought all of us together. We want to chat with her to allow her to tell her story. So please, let's welcome Janet Connell.
Hi, Janet.
Hi.
Hey, welcome, Janet.
Hello, all you wonderful ladies.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing great.
Yeah, we're having a ball being the four of us together here today.
So happy
It's a
to
party.
have you on our podcast. As our
I'm
very
honored.
first guest. We
Very
are
first.
honored.
Yeah, so exciting.
I am not worthy, but I'm honored.
We're honored too.
All right. What was your inspiration for the Shaun Cassidy Fan Convention?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to keep it brief. Well, he's always been my teen idol, as everybody's teen idol. But there were two other entities that came along in my life that I became like really big fans of, and they were the Monkees and the Backstreet Boys. And after having been around other fans of those entities, I went to a Monkees convention in New Jersey in 1986, and then when Backstreet Boys came along through my daughter, I actually had three fan conventions for them. And so, all this time I was like, but whatever happened to Shaun? Where is he? What is he doing? Because as he says in his shows, he about disappeared off the face of the earth.
He
Yep.
did.
So,
We were
I
all
just-
wondering.
right? I just got on the internet one day and I started looking around. I'm like, because then Facebook came on, because Facebook wasn't really around for the other two. And I just started looking for Shaun groups, and I found a couple, but they were boring. No offense to anyone, but there wasn't much going on. There wasn't much conversation. There wasn't much posting or
Interaction, maybe.
information.
Interaction, yeah.
Yes, that's the word. And so I thought, well, why can't I do a group? Why can't I find people? Because I would love to have a fan convention for him, because I know the experience that I had with both of them was really great. You find people who love this entity or this artist just as much as you, and you kind of get a bond. And I'm still friends with, as far as the Backstreet Boys go, I'm still friends with a lot of people that I met at that time. And I'm like, I want to do the same thing for Shaun, because I think he deserves it. He's been gone for a while, and there's got to be people out here that still like him. And boy, were there.
Definitely.
So that was really the whole inspiration for doing it, because I wanted to find people and to see if they would be interested in honoring him with an actual fan convention.
Yeah, we think it was all a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
It's a wonderful
Thank
idea.
you.
Yes.
You found them. You actually found them, that's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. And the convention didn't really go off at first, because there's a whole age demographic that's different. With the Backstreet Boys, they were like preteen all the way up to age 60. But with Shaun, it's more of our generation. So that was a challenge. But it's okay, because in my mind, it's like, well, it's not the right time. You'll know when it's the right time. And if something needs to change or whatever, or maybe you don't have it at all, it's fine. You still found all these wonderful people. We're still fans. We're still here. And that's what's important.
Hey, I do have a question. Did any of your people, your followers from like the Backstreet Boys, and who else was it?
The Monkees.
The Monkees.
The Monkees.
Did any of those come over to Shaun's convention or Shaun's
There are-
Facebook group?
There are a few. Well, there are a few ladies in the group who are Backstreet Boys fans, but I didn't know that.
Okay.
And there's a Monkeys fan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I didn't know them beforehand, but I know them now as also being fans of those groups that I am fans of.
Great. Wonderful. And what are your goals for the Shaun Cassidy Fan Convention Facebook group? And did you ever think it would be as successful as it is today?
Well, I think when I hear the word goal, it always makes me feel like there's a beginning and an end. And so to have a goal is we don't have just like one end goal. I think we just I want to keep on doing what we're doing. I want to make sure that people are coming together, that we're not just random fans. We are a family. We support one another. We become friends because everybody needs a friend. And as far as success, I also think that's kind of like a frame of mind. When you think about success, you might think about like somebody winning American Idol and they're standing up on the stage and everybody's clapping for them. Well, that's great, but that's not the kind of success that I aspire to have. I think success for our group is when people come in and they get inspired or whatever, and then they go off and have their own success. That is my success when they're successful.
That's touching, Janet, because it almost is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your success inspired
We're inspired.
us.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's very, very fitting what you just said.
Yes.
Well, you're welcome, I guess.
Yeah.
So
See,
humble. You are so
I don't-
humble, Janet.
She
I
is.
guess I am. It's a personal thing from personal things that I've been through my life. It's like
Right.
you can't, sometimes you just need somebody to help you. And if I can form this group and bring these people together and there's somebody in there that can help somebody else, well, then I've done my job.
Well, good. So let's talk about another really good job you've done.
Oh, boy, okay.
No, this is like stand up, bow to you worthy. Tell us about your fundraising and what inspired you to raise the funds for the charities that you have donated to. And how did you choose the charities?
Well, again, it goes back to inside, I've always had this feeling of there are people out there who need help. And no matter where you are, if you're doing a little better than them, I think that you should be able to step up and help somebody who might need that. And that's not like handing out. As I always say, somebody else made this quote, which I agree with. Sometimes people need a hand up, not a hand out. And
Yes.
I just, especially, how we chose them was actually, it just came to us. We support Shaun and Tracy's church, and we support No Kid Hungry. And because that's what Shaun supports. So the first thing that happened with the charities was actually quite by accident. And he had released all those new pictures, like with the red room, and he was on the couch.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
Trisha was,
Right.
Trisha's like, he's not wearing socks.
Oh, I remember that.
And so
yeah.
we started joking about that. Why, he doesn't have any socks. Why? And Trisha was like, we should just I'll take socks to the concert and throw them up on the stage. And Teddy and I were like, wait a minute. Wait, ho. We're not going to throw things on the stage.
No.
Let's just collect
Yeah.
socks. And that's how it started.
Yeah.
And we appointed, there was one person at each concert, because I think he did 7 concerts in 2019. And we appointed one person that was going as the sock diva. And they went with a little pouch with our logo on it. And we were like, if you're going to the concert, take a pair of socks. Find this lady. She has a pouch that has our
Very
logo on
nice.
it. And give her the socks. We ended up getting 1,300 pairs of socks.
Wow.
And that was also from people who weren't going and well, I just want to donate socks. And they all went to Teddy, and she sent out 2 huge boxes to the church. And it was she was blown away because her whole bed was covered. She had pictures of it.
Wow.
That's
And I'm like,
amazing.
well, that's the power of when people come together.
Right.
Because you can go to the dollar store and buy $5 worth of socks.
Another
And
thing.
then
I just have another question for you. First of all, you're very awesome, and I wanted to know a little bit more about your Shaun Sister Card Senders, and it has been very successful. I love your creative ideas because it really bonds us. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Like, how did you come up with it?
Yeah.
Well, in Valentine's Day, he was doing a Valentine's Day concert in 2020, right before shutdown. And he had said, "Oh, I'm going to do something really special for everybody that's coming to the concert." So, of course, everybody that was going to the concert was like, yay, we're going to have something special, right? But then the rest of us are like, well, we didn't get anything special at our concert, that kind of thing. Some people were bummed, but still happy, but a little bummed that they weren't getting something special. So I was just like, well, it's Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And what is more appropriate than a secret admirer card? So why don't we just send out Valentine's cards? And of course, it was only to the people that I had addresses for at the time. It might have been 75, 100 people. And I went to a few ladies in the group, and I'm like, that had been there for a while. And I'm like, what do you think about this idea? And they're like, we love it. We love it.
Mm-hmm.
So they all came on board, and I divided the names up and gave them all like a little list of names. And they got their cards and they got their stamps and they mailed them out all on the same day. And then, so everybody that wasn't at the concert got a card to show that they were being remembered as well.
Well, that is totally awesome. But I have been a sender and I have been a receiver. So why don't you just tell everybody how they can sign up to be a sender or a receiver?
Yeah. Well, if you want to send, you just message me. Private message.
Okay.
Because you are secret. So if you are interested in doing something like that, you have to contact me directly, because once you do, and once I find that you're okay with buying cards, buying stamps, you can get to the mailbox and all that, and I bring you in, then you are now a secret.
Mm-hmm.
So
what if I want to be a receiver of a card or many cards?
You just same thing. Just message me and say, I'd like to do this. We now have like over 300 people, and I have 31 senders.
That is awesome.
Yes.
And we started out with like 10 senders and maybe 100 people.
That is awesome.
What about when people move, though? Do you ever find that the cards go undelivered, or you just don't even try to track that?
Yeah, we get cards that come back, and one of the senders will contact me and go, hey, this card came back. And so then I have to go to the person and go, hey, did you move? And most of the time we're like, yeah, I moved. Sorry, here's my new address. And then they just resend it.
There you go. Janet, this is kind of a big question. I'm kind of shy to even ask this, but would you consider hosting the Shaun Sisters weekend in maybe a central location? Maybe.
Well, you don't need to be shy about asking that. It's just a matter of logistics.
Yeah.
I don't hold ownership to this event. Anybody can do one. But for me personally, I want to go to the hotel that I think I'm going to have this at. I want to meet the salesperson. I have to sign the contract. I have to develop a relationship. And for me to not do that locally is hard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But anybody can do it. Just make sure you're organized, make sure you're trustworthy, make sure you know how to keep track of your money. That's basically it. And then you should form a little team of people. Find some people that could in the group.
Mm-hmm.
I would keep it group wise. That maybe this person's strong with decorating. Maybe this one's strong with doing like on the computer slideshows. That's what I was thinking of.
But you're the one that rocks it.
Well, I'm an idea person. I have a billion ideas.
Very creative.
And first I'll go to Teddy and Rhonda and go like, what do you think of this? And they're like, they either are like, oh yeah, awesome, or well, I don't know, that don't sound good. So
sounds like what
that's
we
why
do.
There's three of us, so there's always an odd number.
Mm-hmm.
So Janet, I just real quick, yes. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, fine.
What if I decide one day I want to host the Shaun Sister weekend, but I don't want to do it where I live. I want to do it in another part of the country. And is that okay? You could do it wherever you want. Because with today's technology, you can almost meet with people, with Zoom or other medium, and you can see they have everything where you can visit your site. You just have to be real careful because you don't want to fall into one of those traps where you think you're seeing a really nice venue. But, the more up and up venues and things, you think you can meet over the internet and meet in Zoom meetings and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a possibility that someone who might want to host could do that? They want to host, but they want to do it in another place than where they live?
I don't see why not. I mean,
Sounds cool.
But like you said, you just have to be careful. That's all.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and for Janet, for the people that don't know what a Shaun Sister Weekend is, can you kind of explain what you do there?
Well, I'll explain how the whole thing came about real quick.
Okay.
It's actually a fan convention, but turned into something better because we had the lockdown in 2020 and everybody was stuck at home and everybody was depressed and everybody was like mad and angry and, at the state of the world and everything that was going on. And I was just like, this is the time. The fan convention did not work. That's fine. But this is the time because we've all been on lockdown and we need, like, it was like a year later in 2021. I was like, we need to get out. We need to have a weekend. It'll be like a ladies' night, only it'll be a weekend. We need to get out and dispel all this energy that we've been keeping in because we weren't allowed to. And that's how it actually changed into a Shaun Sister Weekend. And somebody else in the group coined the phrase Shaun Sister. I don't know who it was, but we just went with it. And so that's basically how it evolved.
Well, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Something fun to do.
We had a great time.
Right.
And it does, like Dame said, it brings us together like your cards do, the weekend does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bonds us. It really bonds us.
So, Janet, my turn. Yes. The shy one of the group finally gets to ask a question.
I don't think you're shy.
Oh, it's just in remission. So, Janet, if you were to listen to a podcast, what would your favorite podcast be and why?
Well, of course, if Shaun isn't on it, that's typically the only ones I listen to.
Woo-hoo.
And it's
good answer.
You go, girl.
It's no offense to anyone, and yes, I am a retired person, and people think that I just sit on my butt all day. But I do have things that I do, and sometimes I'm just like, well, I can't listen to that now. I got to go do this thing, And so that's the only reason why podcasts require me to sit down and be quiet and listen. And sometimes I just can't do it.
Well, Janet, just so
no
you can listen,
anyone, but
just so you can listen to more podcasts. I listen every day because while I'm doing things, whether I'm cleaning and cooking or whatever, I always have an earbud in listening to a podcast. So make sure you tune in to the Shaun Squad Society podcast.
What a plug.
Oh.
Well, Janet, you've been
but it's
no, go ahead, please.
Well, podcasts are a new thing for me. Look, I'm still trying to figure out how to use Facebook. Okay. I'm very challenged. So this is a whole new thing for me. So I had to get comfortable with it.
Well, we're here to help you.
Yes.
And we will just reach out to any one of us. And it's so easy. It's as simple as downloading an app and then clicking on your favorite 1, 2, or 100.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun talking to you today, Janet. You've been a lot of fun, a great pleasure. And I want to say that I really do think that the Facebook group is a family. It really is.
Yes.
It brought all of us together, and we appreciate all of the work that you do for that group. And we couldn't be happier that you took time. But we have one more question for you. And that is, I know earlier you said you don't like to think of things as a beginning and an end with goals.
Right.
So my question is, where do you see the group in about 5 years from now?
5 years. Wow. But, well, you know, I just think that we should keep on doing what we're doing. I believe the core goal is always friendship and finding people to connect with. And this is a thought that I just had today. I want our group to be a part of Shaun Cassidy's story and his history.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
You know, I think we are heading in the right direction with that
Yep.
because he knows our red shirts, he knows our buttons, you know, and he knows what we do for his charities.
Right. And I was, you know, in Hawaii. So we were sitting there at the tables, and she just said, just a comment. She was like, everybody always asks him for his autograph. So maybe we should give him our autographs. And I'm like, yes, turn the shirt over. We're going to sign the shirt.
Wonderful.
And we all signed the shirt. And then Rhonda was sitting right at the stage. And, you know, he came out and she gave him the lei around his neck. And then she handed the shirt up to him. And I was so shocked when he held that shirt up in front of everybody.
That was a great
awesome.
moment.
Yeah,
Like,
great
oh
moment.
my God.
Yeah.
You know, and on the back of it was all of us. We had signed it. So he got to see the back of it and he showed the front of it to the whole audience. And I'm like, oh my God.
Aw.
Nice.
You know,
If he
it
didn't
was
before, he knows who you are now.
mhm,
So worth
a
it.
poignant moment.
Very.
Well, Janet, do you have any questions for us?
I don't really right now.
No.
I'll probably think of them 2 days later.
Well, that's fine.
Follow us on our social media.
Yes.
You
Just
can post questions there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we do want to thank you very, very much for taking, you know, your time out and to chat with us this afternoon. And it was really important for us to have you as our first
Yes.
interview because, like Doris said, directly or indirectly, you are our common link that brought us together and created the bond that Dame was talking about. And that's how we created the Shaun Squad.
Yeah, we hope to
Society.
continue the community of, you know, everything that the group is
Yeah,
under.
I like that word, community. That's what it is.
Okay.
Community bonding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Janet. We know you have a busy day. You got to go out there and learn how to use podcasts.
Yeah.
Good job. You
How to
passed.
listen. So we won't take any more of your time.
Yes.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you,
Well,
Janet.
it's been great. Thank you for asking me. I'm humbled. I don't feel worthy, but I was just doing the thing.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you
We
so much.
Appreciate it.
Ditto.
The Shaun Squad Society podcast, including past, present, and future versions, and its content are owned and controlled by the Shaun Squad Society. The views and opinions are solely those of the Shaun Squad Society podcast. The Shaun Squad Society podcast is written, produced, and recorded in Chicago at the Borden Studios. We may think we are always right, but we will get something wrong from time to time. So we assume no responsibilities for errors or omissions of content.